So very good morning to all.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
So I think this is your first lab of signal and system.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So your subject is basically signal and system. Code is 3141005. In this particular subject, you may be study about the some basic of your conversion from time to frequency domain signals. So it may be question whatever the signals which we are transmitted in a free space. Okay, any kind of your signals, either it may be a TV signals, either it may be a radio signals, it may be any kind of your uh, mobile signals, satellite signals. So all the signals we are working within a time domain. But some of the application may be also required in terms of the different domain. So all of you are knowing what is the time domain? Time domain means what?
Yes, sir.
So if you
The
see the any
signal.
signals, we are taking the x-axis is basically a time, okay, and y-axis is basically a amplitude. So your signal is changed according to your time. So it's basically a time domain signals. Okay. Best example is what are the signals you are generated in electronic circuitry using the function generator, and you are given as an input to any circuit which may be implemented to your breadboard. Okay. In this case, this is the time domain signals because each and every time the signal's amplitude is changed. So this is called the time domain signals. So there are so many time domain signals we also understand, like a RAM signals, square signals, sine wave, cos wave, any kind of your signals. But sometime what's happen, whatever the signals you are taken, okay, and just wait. Punit bhai, whatever the signals you are taken uh, is the input to your circuitry. Okay, uh, the output is also similar to your sine wave. Sometime you may be getting the output is also similar to the sine wave. Okay, and you are processing some signals using some kind of a system. Okay, it may be known like a consider your FM radio. Okay, what are the signals you are receiving from any nearest TV tower, maybe your radio tower? You have to process this data, and according to the processing, you are getting the some output. Okay, so system it's required for processing the some data, and signal is already known to you. What are the signals you are transmitting in a free space using the any wired as well as the wireless media. uh, like you are considering the same signals in terms of time domain, which is called the continuous time. Okay, and second is called the discrete time. The difference of this two signal is like you are drawing the sine wave. Okay, and if you see the sine wave, each and every point on my sine wave have a different amplitude. Okay, like consider the 90-degree, consider 60-degree, consider 45 degrees. Each and every angle have a different amplitude of the sine wave. Okay, but it is necessary always to transmit signals in terms of the perfect in a time domain. Okay, no, the reason is if you are transmitting this signal, sometime what's happen, the you require the more processing circuitry to process your data. Okay, so suppose you are dealing with a high frequency applications, already you are knowing there are so many sine wave which is completed within the second. Okay, so the circuit or the system which you are implemented for processing your data, it should be capable to handle all the signals. Okay, so what we are doing, we are taking a sample of this particular signals. Sample is already known to you for each and every student. Sample means what? 19.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by the sample? 21.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what do you mean by the sample of the
Mm,
signal?
so no idea, sir.
Okay. Sample is basically what? We are taking the some random amplitude of these signals. Okay. Like if I just draw the signals and from the, if I just consider the forward bias means a positive half cycle. Okay. Each and every time you are getting the different amplitude. But what we are doing, we are just taking a one particular point and the at this particular point, what is the amplitude? So we are just taking the samples from the sine wave for the transmission of the data. Okay. Why it is required? Suppose if I am taking the samples, you require only the circuit which may be capable to handle it. Okay. Because the each and every time you are changing the samples value. Okay. So if you process it, definitely you require the more complexity in terms of the circuit part. Okay. So this signal is called the discrete time signals. Maybe you are studying a theory class. So we discuss about this continuous time domain signals, discrete time domain, linear time invariant system. Linear is nothing but a you are given the some input like a PN junction diode. If I given the input which is more than the zero point 0.7, the current is increasing in a forward bias. So it's called the linear system or linear device. If any one of the parameter is increasing, second parameter is increasing. Okay, so this is called the linear time invariant. Okay, time invariant nothing but it maybe depends upon the past time as well as the future time. Some of the signals may be depends upon the previous sample, which is called the time invariant signals. Okay. So we discuss about this kind of a LTI system, which is required nowadays, a linear time invariant system. We also discuss about the different mechanism, which is called the Fourier transform and the Fourier series. Okay. How many of you are knowing the Fourier series? Hope so. You maybe study in a math subject. Any one of you are knowing what is the Fourier series? Okay. So Fourier series basically what, or maybe a Fourier transform, whatever the signals you are deal up to this now, it's only the time domain. Okay, but we are required to convert this time domain signals to the frequency. Okay, it means from the x axis I want to convert into a frequency. If you see the x axis, always it is the time. Okay, and y axis is always it is in terms of the amplitude. But instead of the time, I want to just mention it is a frequency like a 1 hertz, 2 hertz, 3 kilohertz, 4 kilohertz, 5 kilohertz. Okay, your x axis should be the frequency. So at a particular frequency, you may be some random amplitude considered like a 2 volt, or at a some another frequency like a 10 kilohertz, there is a random amplitude considered like 5 volt. Okay, so this is called the frequency domain. So many circuit which is required to deal with the signals in terms of the frequency domain. Yeah. So you require some kind of a mechanism to convert this time to frequency. It means you have to deal with a Fourier series as well as the Fourier transform. Another is also the Z transform, which is also similar application where you are required to convert it, but we are converted in terms of the zeros and poles. Okay. And we also discuss about the sampling as well as the reconstruction. In this particular uh, chapter, what we are considering the samples of the signals. Okay, I already given an example. Suppose there is a one positive cycle, and from this positive cycle, if I'm taking only the 10 samples means take a point and find out the amplitude. Take another point, find out the amplitude. So what we are getting out of the all the points, we are taking only the 10 points. Okay, and if I draw the signals, then you can consider as a sampling of the signals. Okay, so I think this is all about your syllabus, and in terms of the lab part, the first experiment is based on the MATLAB. Okay. So how many of you are knowing the MATLAB very well, or this is the first time you are dealing with a MATLAB?
No, sir. In control system, we have deal with MATLAB.
Okay, okay. So I think you are also knowing the some basic part of your MATLAB. So anybody knows what is the full form of MATLAB? No one is knowing, and you are already used this
Sir,
software.
sir, it is basically maths work.
No, nobody knows the full form of
So
MATLAB.
MathWorks and LabVIEW.
Matrix laboratory.
Yeah, someone is searching on Google. It's a basically matrix laboratory. Okay, so this is, I think, if you utilize this software, there are so many tremendous application of this MATLAB. You maybe also find out in terms of the mechanical side. You maybe also find out electrical side. Each and every branch will be covered in this one. Okay, so in the first experiment, we just introduced the MATLAB part. Okay, those who have MATLAB in your laptop or desktop, you can utilize it, and those who don't have, you can download the any kind of your version, which may be I think 2015 or maybe 14. You can download with a license. License in the sense, the first 30-day license are free. Okay, so you can also download it. So I'm just sharing the screen of the MATLAB. Getting the screen?
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So this is basically your matrix laboratory software. Whatever the screen you are seen in a front side, which is mentioned with the academic license, which is nothing but your command window. This left hand side, the below part is called it the workspace, and this is basically current folder. Okay, so I'm just setting as a default layout. So you may be getting this three different layout on your screen. One is command window, second is your current folder, and the third one is the workspace. Okay, so already you are knowing. Suppose if I write down the anything on the MATLAB like a is equal to 2, then it will be store the value of a is equal to 2. Okay, in a workspace you may also getting this value. You may also visualize over here. Okay, so I think it's all very easy. Like if I write down b is equal to uh, a plus 2. Clear? So this is the way to utilize this command window. So suppose what we are doing, I'm just write down the some basic example, like you can set the addition of this two parameter. Initially I'm storing the some value a is equal to 2, and later I'm just add the another values. Okay, so instead of this one, suppose if I'm mentioning the b is equal to a plus 2 and column, what is the difference between these two? Any answer? All of you are getting the answer on your screen, b is equal to a plus 2 with comma. Tell me yes or no, so that's why I can verify whether understand or not. 27.
Yes, sir.
So what is the difference if I write down this one and if I write down this one? Is there any difference?
Yes, sir.
What can you tell me? What is the difference?
Sir, if we write without colon, the answer will not be displayed in the command window, and when if write with colon, the answer will be in workspace.
Okay. So the difference is, suppose it may be required like you to write down the 10 different line in this command window. Okay, and each and every time if I'm not mentioning this comma, so definitely it will be generate the answer and it display the answer in a command window. Okay, so we don't require like we don't require to see this answer, so we can just put this comma. Okay, so any kind of operation should be possible. And suppose I'm interested to generate some kind of a array. If I think all of you know, array means what? Array means all of you are knowing what is this. It's a more than one value, either in terms of the matrix form. Okay, so what I'm taking the one value a is equal to 1 2 3 4. Okay, and if you press it, it's by default will be store this value which have a array which have a 4 column and one row. Okay, but suppose you require the 2 cross 2 matrix, so you can write down the B is equal to 1 comma 2 so all of you are getting this value. B is equal to 1 2 and 1 0. Okay, so any matrix you can also generate it using this array form. This is the way to generate the array. Suppose you require the some sequence which is 10 bits long. Okay, so you can utilize this or either without column or without comma and with the comma. Okay, so this is the first part. Now already you are knowing, suppose I have two arrays and if I want to multiply it. Okay, so the multiplication is possible directly with this multiplication command and you can find out the answer. But suppose if I want to multiply the two different array in the sense like a 1 2 3 4 and 4 2 1 3. Okay, then what you have to do, you have to put with some dot. So suppose there is a two matrix, A is equal to something and B is equal to something, and resultant is A multiply with her because we require the same one, that's why just change it. So getting the answer on your screen.
Yes, sir.
So why the dot is required?
Sir, it will do matrix multiplication, and if we don't put the dot, it will directly multiply the individual numbers.
So basically it's a, if I put the dot, it means it is the element by element multiplication. Clear? And without the dot, it's a only the simple multiplications. You can verify it because already you are knowing the matrix and already you are knowing how to multiply it. So this is the answer of this particular C values. Okay. So division, multiplication, addition, subtraction, everything is possible using this command window. Okay. Second one is like a, if I am interested to plot something. Okay. So I'm just select the some range starting with a x is equal to 0 comma 0.01 comma 10. Can you tell me what is this? X is equal to 1 comma 0.01 comma 10. This is the another way to generate the arrays. Nobody knows.
So the value of x will be uh, after it will starting from 0.01 till 10.
Okay. It's interchange the position. The x value will be started with a 1 with a interval of 0.01 and it will be reach up to the 10. Okay, you can verify it. See the starting value 1 1.01 1.02. Okay, so basically it's an array. Okay, this is the another way to represent it. Suppose you require like a sequence of 1 to 1000 with an interval of the 10, so you can directly write down. It doesn't mean that you can like it is not possible 1 2 3 4 5 up to the 1000. So instead of this one, what we are doing, x is equal to 1 comma 10 comma 1000. So they are started with a 1 with an interval of the 10 and reaching up to the 1000. Yeah, so this is the basically matrix, but it's another way to generate the matrix. So same way, if I utilize the sign x, then I can find out and you can plot it. Right now I'm taking the random number, that's why it may getting some graph like this way, because I'm directly putting the x and have different values. Okay, so this is the way to utilize the plot command. Okay, second one is you can utilize the subplot. So anybody knows what is the subplot? Hello. Anybody knows what is the subplot command?
No, sir.
Okay. So subplot is basically what? Like if you see this plot command, you may be getting the graph which is only single figure. Like this way. This is the single figure you are getting. But what we require in this figure, I have required the two different figure. First one is this and second is this. Clear? First is this one and second is this one. So I can utilize in a single window, I am getting the two figures simultaneously. Then it is nothing but a subplot command. I'm given one example. Just see it. Just wait. So what I'm taking, x is equal to like a minus 24 to 24 with a divided by 24 with a pi. This is the range we are taking. Okay, and we have plot it. So plotting means x versus the sign of x components. So what you are getting, or if you are getting the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the one sample. It's nothing but we can consider the sine wave. Now, okay, you can change it from 24 to minus 24. So it may be starting with a plus. In this case, they started with a negative one. Okay, so instead of the plot, if I'm using the subplot, okay, and if I'm plotting the cos command, so what I'm doing, first you have to set the subplot. And which I'm write down subplot 221. So 221 is basically what? The first two, if I multiply, it means it is a 4. This is the matrix. It's a 2 cross 2. So using the 2 cross 2, I can generate the 4 figure. And it will be display this plot at a first figure. So just see. All of you are getting my point? What is a subplot? Subplot means I'm just, you can write down any values like a 2 cross 2. Okay, first two digit it's indicate the multiplication of the 4. So I can generate the 4 figure, first, second, third and fourth. Okay, last one is indicate I want to display at a first figure. Okay, suppose I want to display at a second one. So what you have to write down? Subplot 2 to 2. So see, it's the second one. Clear? Now I want to plot it. I want to plot it the sine and cos in this particular figure. Okay. So like a, if I plot over here, So if I plot after the subplot, okay, because see the subplot is 2 2 2 and we are generating the output at a second one, okay, and we require the first one, then further you have to write down the 2 2 1 and course. So instead of this one, if I'm mentioning it is 1 and plot, instead of the sign now can consider as a course. So this is the way to display it. Okay, so suppose this is required to display the so many figures in a one range. So suppose if I want to write down the subplot 333. So anybody knows what is the answer over here? 333 means what? Hello? 333 means what? Nobody knows? So it's a 3 multiplied by 3, it's a 9 and will be generate the figure at a third position. Okay, so this is the subplot command. Same way you can generate a zeros, x is equal to zeros. So suppose you require the matrix which have a same values like a 0 0 0. Okay, so you can use the zeros and ones. So 10 means it is indicate the matrix value, the 10 cross 10. Okay, and the value which is indicate the 0. Instead of the 0, if I write down it's 1. So it's a generation of the 10 cross 10 matrix which a value is 1. Okay. So this is all about the zeros and ones. You can also find out the some max, minimum and median values. So suppose the array is given to you and from this array we are interested to find out what is the maximum value and what is the minimum value. So you can use the direct command the max and the mean, and you can also find out the medium as well as the average. Okay. So it's request to all the students, just write down the basic command which may be helpful to understand about the MATLAB. And this is your first experiment. You have to also write down this in a file. So all of you just write down this one. First one is the matrix multiplication and subtraction. Matrix multiplication and subtraction. Second is the sum. Mean, MEAN. Max and mean. Array generation. Plot and subplot command. Axis. Hold on command. Legend. Steam command, STEM. So suppose if I plot it, just wait. Steam, you may be getting the samples. So in your screen, you may be getting some kind of a samples. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So which have a different values. Okay, this is called the sampling process. Okay, see in between 1 and 2 we don't know about the amplitude. Okay, but we are knowing at a 1 the amplitude is approximately nearer to 0.9. At a 2 it's maybe nearer to 0.9. Okay, so at a range we are setting the different intervals, and at a different interval we are trying to find out the amplitude. Okay, so this is called the steam command. Okay, so instead of the sine wave, if I just plot it in a steam, so, okay, so your sine wave which is converted into a samples. This is called the samples. So steam command, X label and Y label, X label, Y label, and title. So what you have to do, if you have a MATLAB, then it's fine. Otherwise, you can also download it from the Google. Okay, academic version or license, not a license version. Free trial is also available. And if you are not comfortable with a MATLAB, then go with a Scilab. This is almost similar thing. And you maybe perform the same experiment using the Scilab also. Okay. So how many of you are already you have a MATLAB? Only 2%. Okay. So I think it's request to restore like a 16, 17, 18, 21, 23, 31, 32, 22. Okay. You may download this MATLAB software and start to implement whatever the basic command already I given to you. Okay. And this basic command is required for understanding about the MATLAB part. If you are comfortable, just go with a .m file, and you maybe start to generate some signals. Okay, what are the signals you maybe study, like a sine wave, cos wave, ramp signals, square signals, triangle signals. So you can generate it. Domain number 17.
Yes, sir.
So you have a laptop or desktop? 17. I'm asking to you.
Sir, I have a laptop.
I'm not getting your voice.
Hello. Hello.
So those who don't have a MATLAB, at least start to install it. Academic license version for 30.IELTS. You maybe also find out in a Google. Okay. So before next lab, uh, you have to generate a sine wave and the cos wave for a different range of your time. Okay, like the enrollment number 19, they start to generate the two samples. It means in your figure you must have to display only two samples. Like enrollment number 27, so it means they have to generate the three samples. Okay, so in a one screen you must have to generate the three samples. Okay, so if your enrollment number between the 10 to 20, then you maybe start to implement from at least 5 different samples, and from 21 to the rest onwards you start to implement the at least 10 samples. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now you can start your work, because it's already 45 minutes, so you can start your work and try to implement it. If you have any doubt, you just send me a chat message. You just send me a chat message. Hello. So it's a request to all. Just complete your task. This is your experiment 1, introduction to the MATLAB. And what are the basic command is given to you? You have to write down in terms of either Word file and try to implement in a MATLAB. Okay. So taking your attendance. Okay, your lab is completed now. So complete your task, whatever the task is assigned to you. Now you may leave from this meeting.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.